In fact, money woes are one of the leading causes of divorce in the US. For every 10 marriages, 4 end in divorce because of money.
Before you let Emily Mariko's wedding influence your future wedding, just pause and realize that this is not normal life.
It will take me another 16 years to get that credit card paid off.
So we're getting into the time of year where a lot of people are planning to have their weddings. And unfortunately, when we take a look at these stats, that means a lot of people are also going into debt. A significant number of newly married couples go into debt to pay for their wedding. LendingTree reports that 67% of newlyweds took out debt for their wedding. Similarly, US News found that 50% of newlyweds did the same thing. So we're talking about 1 out of every 2 couples doing this for a one-day party. We're going to be going over a lot today, how long it's going to take to pay the debt off, how this can affect the marriage as a whole, and why this is so common in today's world. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just start off with this.
This woman is going to her wedding, and she went into $60,000 of debt in order to throw this wedding, and she's not the only one. The average wedding in America is $30,000, and the typical size of a wedding is 100 guests, and each guest costs around $266. That's a lot of money, and people are literally going into debt throwing these weddings. So why? The wedding industry is notoriously expensive. Services for a wedding generally cost more than if you were to have those same services at another event. For example, catering for a retirement party would likely be a lot less than catering for a wedding. Vendors say that because weddings are so high pressure, there's an added cost. But critics call the pricing a wedding tax. And what's worse is the price is going up. 77% of wedding vendors say they're increasing their rates. They say it's because of inflation, but technically inflation has gone down. Here's some data to show what services are getting more expensive. As you can see, the top 3 are DJs, makeup artists, and flowers. And interestingly, grooms' outfits are getting cheaper. What's crazy is despite everything getting more expensive, people are still willing to pay.
Which sounds absolutely insane to me, and that adds into the 50 or 60% of people getting into debt for this party, even though it's widely known how much of a ripoff it is. Apparently because of the high pressure environment, yeah, right. But we could get into the reasoning why this is happening now.
That's because there's basically a backlog of weddings. The pandemic made some people delay their weddings, and now they want to have a big party. So you're likely to start seeing a trend of very lavish weddings. And people are willing to pay up, even that means going into debt for it. Which I don't fully support because financial problems can lead to bad marital problems. In fact, money woes are one of the leading causes of divorce in the US. For every 10 marriages, 4 end in divorce because of money. Do you think taking out debt for a wedding is a good idea? Personally, I actually know a few people who have, but I also know a lot of people who have had their parents pay for everything.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the parents paying for everything in a second, but the statistic that almost 40% of divorces are because of money issues. I've talked about this before. You're putting yourself behind the 8 ball at the very beginning of your marriage, let alone the high cost of living and trying to own a house or have children in today's world. You're going to put yourself into tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt just to have the party after you get married, and then statistically have a even larger chance of divorce compared to how bad it already is now. It just seems absolutely ridiculous to me. We have a comment from one of you guys. I bartend weddings in Tahoe. You wouldn't believe what people spend on the venue, food and beverages, DJ and band, wedding coordinators, flowers, hair and makeup, cake, photography and videography, a photo booth, party favors, transportation. It's a big business. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. We're going to see a breakdown of a crazy expensive wedding cost in a second, but we're going to go back to that clip with parents paying for their kids' weddings. So if you are the couple getting married, you're obviously not going to go into debt for it, but that doesn't mean the parents aren't going to.
This is crazy. Today is my daughter's 2nd wedding anniversary, and I cannot wait for her 18th wedding anniversary. Why? That's insane, right? Well, because that's when I will have the credit card finally paid off that I used to put on her beautiful wedding. I am an idiot. So we didn't have money, of course, for the wedding. Who does? And so I said, listen, I'm just going to put everything on my credit card and we will figure it out. We did everything ourselves. We rented a tent, put it in my parents' pasture. Like, I did all the florals myself. I mean, we bargain hunted for everything. Like, we really did. It was a beautiful wedding, but we did it as frugally as possible. And now at the rate that I am currently paying on my credit card, I pay $350 a month, which to me is every extra penny I have. It will take me another 16 years to get that credit card paid off.
What is the thought process to do so? You clearly didn't have the money to do this, which already sounds like a much cheaper wedding than the average $30,000 or anything else we're going to see in this video, but you still made the decision with the amount of income you make to now pay off this wedding in 16 years. I'm kind of speechless from that one, and the description doesn't make it much better. $9,000 doesn't seem like that much money. I mean, maybe in comparison to all these extravagant weddings, $9,000 isn't a lot, but I would say anybody on the planet would like a free $9,000 in their bank account, but I'll end up paying 10 times that by the time my credit card is paid off. That's an insane choice to make just for a wedding party. And you want to see even crazier? We have a set of screenshots from this wedding budget breakdown of $97,000, almost a six-figure wedding. How could the wedding cost that much? Let's break it down. The venue and catering total is $65,732. I'm sorry, even with all the car videos and me talking about getting a used car because how much new vehicles depreciate so quickly, I'd rather pay $60,000 for a brand new vehicle and $5,000 for a very small wedding, because at least you get something out of it somewhat long term. Other than the photos and possible videos of this wedding, nobody's really going to remember it a few weeks after it happens, but we'll keep going. Catering, $260 per person. With 150 guests, that turns into $39,000 plus a 25% admin fee on the total. What does that even mean? Just another 25% tax. Okay. Stationery, another $1,300. So everything that was set up on the tables. Flowers and decor, almost $8,000. $8,000 for flowers. Photography, $5,600. Bridal look, around $10,000. The dress and alterations was almost $9,000. Hair and makeup, another $1,400. Day of coordination, another $1,600, so I guess the coordinator for the whole day. DJ, almost $3,300 again. And then miscellaneous, groom suit, $600, wedding ring, $800, venue insurance, another $200, bridesmaid's gift, $300, and then other various expenses here and there, you know, whatever, just a quick $100,000. Some of the comments from this post, anyone spending $100,000 on a wedding is so obscenely brainwashed by consumerism. Damn, $97,000, I'd buy a house. I mean, at least a solid down payment. Or what I've said previously, if you do have that kind of money, I thought it would be a better idea to have a smaller wedding and then have an insane honeymoon. Go travel around for weeks or months around the world. I feel like that would be a lot cooler than just one wedding party. And I'll say the same thing that I do with the car payment videos. If you are genuinely super wealthy and have an ungodly amount of money, then yeah, spend $100K on a wedding. Spend $1 million, I don't care. But as we saw at the beginning of this video, more than half of everybody getting married is going into debt for this, means they cannot afford it. And what many people are starting to see, especially with social media, is that a lot of these weddings have gotten so extravagant to show off to other people online. It's not really about the marriage anymore. It's about how many likes you get on Facebook, on Instagram. We have another comment from one of you guys, wedding photographer here, and yeah, let me inform you, 50 to 60% of weddings, the client wants a wedding, not a marriage. They look for the IG pictures and stories. Doesn't really seem too worth it to me to get into 5 or 6 figures worth of debt just for that dopamine hit and that attention online for a week, maybe.
I just got married about a month ago.
Oh, that's exciting. Way to go.
Thank you. We combined all of our finances, and we had a plan to pay for the wedding, and that plan did not go accordingly. So we ended up going into a bit of debt on top of some pre-existing debt. So now we're just kind of looking for advice as newlyweds to
What
start it off
happened?
right. We were living with family, so we were able to set the money aside. We weren't really paying rent, and that plan faded, and we ended up moving out and getting into a house, which, of course, in Denver, the rent is skyrocketing.
So how much?
That kind of took our wedding budget away from us, but we weren't really willing to compromise on the wedding, which was not a good financial decision by any means.
Oh, so we went into
but-
debt. Oh, how much money did you take a loan out for this wedding?
We took about $32,000. Well,
$32,000 for a
Yeah.
wedding?
Taking out a loan for that is the price of a brand new Corolla, which I know is not some flashy, awesome vehicle, but still a utility that's pretty reliable and can get you from point A to point B for the foreseeable future, but not compromising because they had to start paying rent moving out of their parents' house so they couldn't save enough money, is crazy reasoning to take a $30,000+ loan out for their wedding. Another experience from you guys, my aunt married for $30,000 in the 80s, so that's significantly more now. I actually want to look it up. Okay, wow. That was actually worse than I thought. $30,000 in 1980 is worth $116,431 today in 2025. Loans and multiple credit cards maxed out. She spent 10 years paying it off. I guess that's better than the previous clip with the parent going to take 16 years to pay off her credit card. I got married in 1999 at the courthouse, dinner with family after, and party at my place with friends after that. $100 for the marriage license, judge, and booze. Been married 25 years. No regret. I know almost all of my videos I sound like a grumpy old man, but it just seems to me if you have these super extravagant, expensive weddings compared to just going to the courthouse and having a very small party or dinner with family that doesn't cost nearly as much, you probably got married for the right reasons compared to the $116,000 with today's inflation and wanting to have all the pictures and videos to put online to show off to your friends. But even with all of these examples, statistics, all the numbers, you'll still have conversations that are like this all the time.
You're going into $50,000 worth of debt for your wedding. Yeah, I mean, it's important to us. You make 70 grand a year. This would be almost your entire annual salary. Look, we've waited a long time for this. It matters. Dude, I am not saying don't get married. I'm saying don't start your marriage off with a bill you can't pay. We'll figure it out. How? Dude, 50K is not just numbers. It's We're not being reckless, okay? We've ran the numbers on what we need, and this is what it is. This is gonna follow you for a very long time. Okay, so what are you suggesting? We just skip the wedding? No, I'm saying do it differently. Do it more scrappy, smaller. Save for a year. Just delay it for a year. What's a year? You'll have tons of money saved up, and you'll be way better off if you do something like that. It won't feel the same. It will still feel special, even if it's not right this second or it's not the biggest thing ever. But if you do something like this, I mean, it could jeopardize both of your financial futures for years to come. We've just always wanted the moment to feel big, you know? And it will, man. It's still your wedding. You really don't want to remember that as a day you regret.
I don't know if it was the Disney fairy tale ending that was beat into all of our heads as a little kid, but so many people want the day to be absolutely perfect and will do anything and everything to try to live out that dream, even though it could ruin you financially, including the relationship. We have a comment that's very similar from one of you guys. So often we hear those trying to justify an expensive wedding saying it's the most important day of your life. They're wrong. Today is the most important day of your life. Live each day fully and stop fantasizing about some childish fairy tale you can't afford. And so many people get angry about that online. There are memes all over the place like this. When people ask me how the wedding planning is going and I've only paid for my dress with a almost $4,000 charge to begin with, and you could see by her reaction that's something she most likely can't afford. But these will be the same people complaining that they'll never be able to own a house because of how expensive it is, which overall they're not wrong, but spending $50,000 on a wedding like the last clip could be a solid down payment to actually own a house. But no, you absolutely had to have that big party. So we could start getting into the wedding vendors and how insane their pricing is. Just a clip up on screen right now of this woman looking at a wedding weekend food and beverage minimum of $150,000. The site fee alone at this hotel is $70,000. Like, this kind of stuff is truly unbelievable to me. It doesn't get better in the comments. A florist quoted me a minimum of $12,000 for my wedding. I found a different one and just bought what I needed for $4,000. Still crazy high. The industry is a literal robbery, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're taking advantage because so many people want the day to be absolutely perfect. I got a quote back from the florist and it was $13,000. My entire wedding is coming in at $20,000. Those prices made my jaw drop. I know in comparison still way less than the $150,000, but it's just crazy to me what people are willing to spend for this event.
So on average, I would say that the low end of weddings, there's no way that you're getting out for under $40,000.
Wow.
I'd say majority of my weddings are spending
$60,000.
Yep. And I've got 3 in November that are spending 70.
This feels extremely close to the car payment videos where we see all of the salespeople have $1,000 or $1,500 car payments, trying to make you think that a $600 or $700 car payment isn't that bad because, you know, they're paying $1,000 or $1,500, $2,000. So saying the absolute bare minimum is $40,000, I have some people spending $70, puts the same thing into your brain that, oh, you know, $40,000 I guess isn't that bad. As if anybody could just pull 40 grand out of their pocket. The comments did not take this very well. You could absolutely have a wedding for under $40,000. That's insane. We're doing ours for $10,000. I eloped for less than $2,000 under a waterfall. Best decision of my life. Many comments like that. My wedding cost $50 for the certificate, and we're 13 years going strong. Don't start your life in debt to put a show on for other people. All these comments are funny. This is different times, people. The post-COVID price boom on weddings is insane. But if we go back to the first clip with all of those statistics, a lot of the pricing for the wedding events have actually outpaced inflation, which I don't need to tell you has already been crazy over the past 5 years. So it seems like these people are taking advantage even more. My wedding's next year and we're on track to be under $10,000. There's absolutely a way to do it for less than $40,000. That's crazy. So that post-COVID boom, she's having a 2026 wedding and doing it for way less than this. With how ridiculous this comment was, the original poster did not take this very well. Started blaming apparently different states, and wherever you live, that's the reason why the prices are different. I'd say a lot of you live in different states, and that's the difference in pricing, but that's just me. People like nice things. Nothing wrong with that. I'll say it again. If you genuinely have this kind of money to spend on a wedding, then go do it. That's fine. I don't care. But with the stats we saw, clearly not many people actually have the funds. But just trying to normalize this throughout all society will hurt everybody financially over the long run. Now I have a little compilation of Caleb Hammer's guests on the financial audit because it's pretty common for a lot of these people who are bad with money and in a lot of debt to also not be able to afford their weddings they spend a ton of money on. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, you also have $413,000 of debt, so better be a lot of really good memories. Oh my, I don't even know. What the f are we doing? 413,000.
That's not a thing.
Capital One. Whose credit card is this?
Wifey's.
Why do you know this one but not the others?
Because we spent $20,000 on our wedding. Mostly credit cards and some from her dad.
Oh, okay, good. How much did he help with?
Like like we owe him $6,000.
You owe him, so it's a debt to the debt. Is it a small wedding, big wedding? Have we paid for it?
It's a mid-size wedding, I think.
Okay, cost?
$12,000. I put it on a credit card.
The whole thing?
Yeah, there's a couple more expenses that need to be paid for.
Yeah.
So like the cake, and we're gonna add some guests, and that will cost more money.
You guys were not ready for marriage.
No.
Good thing we spent $25,000 on the wedding.
We did rush into marriage.
Oh! How much was the wedding?
At least $11,000 spent on the wedding.
We are 6 figures in debt. It's all bad debt.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys?
Cool. That last one is a perfect example, putting on a show for others. You have some people having crazy weddings to show off to other people online for that validation and attention, and others saying that this isn't about you, this is for your family, all the guests. You have to put on this big party for us. Like, it's basically a lose-lose situation. I don't even know what to say. We have another comment from one of you guys. I've turned down being in several weddings and destination bachelorette parties, and I feel no guilt about it. Because even with the big financial burden on yourself to throw this big party, some people have destination weddings, so you have to fly to the other side of the world, making all of your guests pay way more money just to attend. You could add on the bachelor or bachelorette parties too, and the cost just starts racking up.
If you're planning a wedding right now, it's important to consider the financial obligation you're putting on other people by having that wedding. Of course, people can say no to your RSVP, but they're going to feel very bad about missing your important life milestone, especially if they are a very close friend or family member. Society needs to normalize intelligent financial decisions. And when you choose to have a huge party for your wedding, you are making a lot of people close to you more broke in the process, whether you want to or not.
We have a screenshot here as well. Being a bridesmaid can be incredible incredibly expensive, here's the cost of a destination wedding I did not attend. The destination bachelorette party, $600 plus 4 days off of work. All-inclusive resort 4 nights, almost $2,500, another 5 days off of work, 9 days of dog boarding, $720, international flight, $1,200, the bridesmaid dress, $160, hair and makeup, $200, a wedding gift, $150, in total over $5,500. I would normally say, how are people making these types of choices for both themselves and all the guests that all attend? With all the cost of living videos that I've made, virtually everything you could think of being sky-high prices right now, let alone these types of expenses, but people are just swiping their cards, getting into a whole bunch of debt with 20 or 30% interest rates, and then sometimes never getting out of that hole. It really seems like a nightmare to me, and to add on to it, going to any of these wedding venues, you'll still have experiences like this.
People do choose to get married right here. Of course, this is an extra 50 grand. Watch your step, guys. What size is your wedding party? You have to have like 11 or 2. I will say each blade of grass is around $10,000. Is included only on Tuesdays.
Oh, was there construction?
Oh, yeah. But if you would like the cones removed on your wedding day, of course, that will be an extra $12,000. And of course, we do have an outhouse for guests. It's because you have to pay $20 to use the restroom inside the venue. So if you don't want that option, you can hike it on out here. We will have golf carts for your wedding day, of course.
Oh, are they included in the package?
Oh, no, they're not included in it. Guys, I want you to take it all in. You, me, her. Here comes the bride moment.
Oh, we really love that tree.
Oh, that tree? If you want that tree, it's going to be $5,000. We do have a floral company here.
Do we have to use that company?
Thursdays, you don't have to use the floral company. Of course, they are $50,000. And the best part is we have a getaway car included, no cost. It doesn't run right now. And we do have a jet skiing option if you would like to jet ski down the aisle.
Well, we really like it.
Okay, so when are y'all thinking?
About 2 years from now.
Okay, so we're booked for like six more years.
Some of the comments, the usage of a beach for a beach venue was an extra $500. I do hate the wedding industry. They charge so much money for just average things. Don't forget the photographer that charges an extra $1,000 to get digital photo files. Me right now trying to plan my wedding, but it's so much. Shocker. Another comment from one of you guys, I was so close to being in wedding debt. My wife and I were planning a wedding at a small venue in Massachusetts. The venue alone was $28,000 and the whole wedding would have cost $40,000. We got married at City Hall instead and then traveled to Greece. Exactly what I said before. If you really want to spend that kind of money, I think a honeymoon for weeks or months, traveling around wherever with your partner, is a lot cooler than a venue that was $28,000 to begin with. The whole industry is getting so scummy that we're starting to see scams that go along with it.
The New Yorker just published what you could call a hit piece on the wedding website, The Knot. The author did an investigation to see if The Knot is sending fake brides, fake leads, to its wedding vendors. They go into the initial economics of a wedding. Each year, Americans drop roughly $70 billion hosting weddings. In New York City, the average wedding costs about $80,000. Even modest weddings, they have about 14 vendors. They also go into why people become wedding vendors. They talked to a person that does wedding conferences. He says a lot of people go into this industry because they're good at something. They bake good cakes, and the family says, you should go into the wedding cake business. But being good at something doesn't mean you're good at running a business. So The Knot makes money from vendors by saying, hey, you advertise your services on our website, theknot.com, and we'll get you leads. We'll get brides to reach out to you to hopefully, use your service. So this person was roped into getting in a very expensive advertising tier. Once they did that, a torrent of leads arrived via The Knot's online vendor portal. And then he talked to the customers by phone, but it felt like all the brides were reading from a script. I could hear other calls in the background, and they all had the same lilting tone. They're not deny they do any of this. They said there's no reason to do this, but more than 20 wedding vendors who advertised with The Knot told the author that they received inquiries from what they've believed are fake brides. One vendor spent $12,000 on The Knot, got nothing. Almost tanked their business.
No matter where you look in this day and age, there are scams everywhere. That's why I have a running series on my channel just showing you the different types that I see all the time. We have another comment from one of you guys. All 5 of the weddings that I photographed are divorced. Guess I'm bad luck. Now I know people going into marriage don't expect to get a divorce, at least most of the time, but these statistics don't lie. So if you do want to pay the prices that the wedding industry is charging, there's still a decent chance that all of this could be for nothing. And like I said before, at least with my my experiences watching a lot of people on TikTok as well, typically the cheaper the wedding, the longer the marriage actually lasts, because those people genuinely just wanted to be married to each other. They didn't want a crazy expensive party. But we could take a look at a clip talking about debt even before getting married.
Should you marry someone that has debt? It's a question I get, and my answer is maybe. Here's the thing, 86% of couples that will get married, one of them will be bringing debt into the marriage. So it's not a question of if you have debt, do I marry you? It is more, what do you think about debt? AKA, how do you want to live your life with money? Do you want your lifestyle to be? Do you constantly want to be above the income line? Do you want to match and spend everything we make? Do you want to live below our income, right? So it's more of a lifestyle question. And when debt is in the picture, it's usually because you're living above what you make, and so you have payments, whether it's car payments, credit cards, personal loans, whatever it may be. So the question is not, should I marry someone with debt? It's, should I marry someone that has the same value system as I do when it comes to life and money? And that answer is yes.
I would still say in today's world, there's a lot of people right now seeing their potential partners in a lot of debt, and that's an instant no for them. So having debt could affect your life more than just having a monthly payment. But I do agree with being on the same page financially is a very important thing in a relationship, but that stat at the beginning of 86% is wild to me.
Unpopular opinion, postpone the wedding. If you have credit card debt, student loan debt, any type of consumer debt, postpone the wedding. Let me tell you why. If you are coming into a marriage with a negative net worth, like so many people are nowadays, especially because of student loans, why would you want to dig that hole deeper for 2-3 day celebration? Wouldn't it be even more powerful if the first thing that you did as a couple was to pay off all of that debt so that you can start in a financially stable place? You and the person that you are going to be with for the rest of your life can go to the courthouse and get married. We did. Then as a newlywed team, make a plan to pay off your debt. We did. And then celebrate that accomplishment with a wedding. We did. Coming from experience, I can tell you a wedding is so much sweeter when you don't wake up the day after having to face tens of thousands of dollars of debt. So set your marriage up for success by practicing a little bit of delayed gratification and postpone the wedding.
But that's almost unheard of now. We all want instant gratification. We're paying for items with Klarna just so we could get the newest iPhone or some sort of product. The Nintendo Switch 2, that's like $500 now. And a good portion of the reason why people go into debt for these weddings is because they're comparing themselves to others, whether they're influencers, celebrities, their friends online. Everything's intertwined with social media, and it starts warping your brain.
Before you let Emily Mariko's wedding influence your future wedding, just pause and realize that this is not normal life. Okay, but this is normal life. People in budget wedding groups all over Facebook. She does not have a normal life. Marry the love of your life. Enjoy your day. Don't go into debt to try to prove something to other people who don't matter.
So I could probably come out with a video like this weekly, but there'll still be some people going into debt and possibly never getting ahead financially. Hopefully this video can deter some people from possibly being in the same situation if they're at this point in the road in their life. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.